So we know nowadays the European Union pretty much just grab everything of native people of Europe, tables of native countries of Europe, and give to the rest of the world. Now it's no different with this. They're pretty much out to destroy farmers in Europe. But we hear every day of the week from our governments, even the European Union, about the environment, etc., protecting the environment, climate change, all that. And they want to buy loads of beef from South America and import that from halfway around the world to Europe. And obviously put out farmers from Europe out of pocket. And of course, many countries voted for it. Many countries voted to sell out their own people. That's pretty much what it is straight up, it's trying to sell out your own farmers and put them out of business. Let's put that way, particularly beef industry. In Ireland, they were hemming and hawing for a few days about what they were going to do, and they decided to vote against it. But let's be fair, the only reason why the Irish government voted against it, because Italy voted for it, and only for that they wouldn't need the Irish government support to get it through. So Italy voted for it. And now I don't know what Giorgia Meloni, she was supposed to be for the Italians, for Italy. Not in this case, because it's pretty much anti-Italy. It's pretty much anti-Europe too, what they're trying to do here. They're pretty much selling it out to South America, which is insane. None of the South American countries, I bet you if we asked them all, would they do the same to import loads of Irish beef, for example, instead of their own farmers? They would tell us to go to hell. And to be rightly so. Any country with any kind of bit of sovereignty left, Ireland has no sovereignty. We talk about the backwards looking at your sovereignty. It's Micheál Martin, the Taoiseach. Would you believe the Prime Minister of Ireland said that he doesn't believe in sovereignty? So basically he's not afraid to sell anything to the European Union. But yeah, long story short, this probably will pass in the European Parliament. There's not a hope it probably will be rejected. Now, it should go to the people of Europe, in my opinion. In Ireland, there's going to be, hopefully the farmers block up Dublin for the next 7 years, if necessary, just to annoy the government and to force them into not implementing it. Because again, the Irish government could just be like, no, we won't. It's simple as that, if they had the balls. Because again, they only said it yesterday. They didn't come out with this 5 months ago. They only said it yesterday. Oh, we're going to vote against it and stuff. But that's because Italy said, yeah, we're going to vote for it. And only for that, they probably wouldn't have said anything at all. They would have waited. They probably would have voted for it. But yeah, obviously Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, the government here, in a lot of trouble. Like if this comes in, they're in a lot of trouble with the farmers. And especially Fine Gael relies a lot on the farmers for this votes, because they used to be known as the Farmers Party, but they're anti-farmers now. They're anti-Irish too, of course. They're anti-everything. But the only thing they're pro-European Union, selling out to the European Union, selling themselves to the European Union. That's the only thing they're pro at the moment. But again, they hate everything to do with this country, hate to do with everything with the backwards looking at their sovereignty too. But yeah, it's utterly ridiculous that any country in Europe said, yeah, let's sell our farmers out. That's pretty much. So just going into that, my local TD, Niamh Smith, she's the junior minister for AI. And a lot of TDs, etc., are coming. Yesterday, all came out of the woodwork or woods. They say, "Oh, we're very concerned about the mercosur deal and stuff." But this is the thing: they never said anything yesterday until literally yesterday came out the announcement that the government are going to vote against it, just because Italy is now voting for it. Only for that they wouldn't have come out against it. They seem to be a bit him-hawing about it. But yeah, Niamh Smith was nowhere to be found about 3 weeks ago talking about this. None of them were anywhere. I heard no Fianna Fáil TD, no Fianna Fáil councillor. They were all Australia, gone. They were all gone to, I don't know, Mexico or somewhere. Because they were nowhere to be found. None of them were out to say anything at all. They only said at the last minute now the announcement came out. So it's not good enough. And again, I know why Niamh Smith probably didn't, because she wanted to see what Micheál Martin ticked. Because again, the government, there was a job in the government, etc. But yeah, I just want to briefly, just on another topic, the Anglo-South, my local newspaper. Obviously, people are not very pleased. The Anglo-South was very upset. People came in and talk crime. As you can see here, not many people are saying, yeah, I love being sold out to the European Union. Not many people are not too happy. So yeah, and obviously the Anglo-South gets a lot of money from the Irish state, the Irish taxpayer, etc. So there probably shouldn't be shutting people to debate down, especially because this is the people's. This is not just them. It's not up to Niamh Smith or it's not her salary that it's at risk, etc. It's a public discussion. People are entitled to their view. It's the same if there was. I would recommend to the Irish government they have a vote on it. Go to the Irish people, referendum on it. Should they implement it? Should they not? But we all know how that would go, because the last few referendums didn't go in their favour. Shocker. And it won't go this time. So yeah, go ahead and try and do it. And but what I'm trying to say, if they had a bit of background, I'd say probably countries like Poland. Poland, from the very start, was against it. Was not willing to sell out their farmers. And a few other countries in Europe, they were totally against it from the start when this was even first talked about. The Irish government sat in their hands because they were too afraid of the European Union. They were too afraid of Ursula von der Leyen. But yeah, you can't. Again, countries, you have your sovereignty. You don't have to implement it. The European Parliament is an alien parliament to Ireland. We go by the Irish Dáil. That's what the people in 1916 fought for. Our own self-government government on the island of Ireland, not in Brussels or in Strasbourg or wherever. It's the Irish government, and of course the Irish government controlled by the European Union, but pretty much what I'm trying to say is up to the people of Ireland to decide the laws of the country, not some foreign land, because that's what we pretty much got with the Westminster for Brussels, which is insane to say, but that's pretty much what's happened now. But what I'm trying to say is we have to look. Obviously, we don't have to implement it. The European Union will fine us, but let them fine us. We can just ignore them if necessary. But definitely we have to start taking back a lot of. Well, not the only thing we have to do in the European Union, as we see with Hungary, is just say no. We won't do it. We won't. It's simple as that. You can fine us the way. We won't. If something's beneficial to us, we will do it. If not, then we will ignore you and just let them fine you. I think that's the best policy, and of course we probably should look about when we get the presidency of the European Union, we should try and reform the European Union to back what it was, that it didn't want to take countries' sovereignty, etc., and what it was back in the day about trade, etc., not so much about fucking telling people what to do and how to do it and not to do and what not to do. That's dictatorship pretty much. But yeah, we see what happens. Ireland's taking the presidency, as I say, in 6 months' time, in June or July. So hopefully Ireland does something useful. But anyway, let me know what you think, subscribe for more, and bye.